Omo, how far? If you're just coming, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. So, today we're about to check out 10 things that you did not know about Nollywood. So, for those of you not from Nigeria, Nollywood is the Nigerian film industry, Nollywood coined from Hollywood. It's widely popular in the world right now, as Nigerian culture and as Nigeria as it has become a lot more popular. A lot more people have gotten into Nigerian movies around the world. So right now we're about to check out a video about 10 things that apparently we don't know about Nollywood. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
What is disastrous for any maiden is to grow old in her father's house.
You can send on the phone.
And where?
Snapchat. Everyone is on Snapchat, Mom. Come on.
10 things you didn't know about Nollywood. Nigeria is the most populous African country, colored with numerous ethnic groups, as well as languages. With a happiness rate of 5.5 points out of 10, Nigerians are considered the second most happy people in Africa, being the most ethnic diverse, creative and talented people has implied a thriving movie industry, through which Nigeria is shown in all its glory. The Nigerian movie industry is called Nollywood, and despite the millions of Nigerian movies which have been made and award-winning actors it has produced, there is still a lot that is unknown about Nigeria's and Africa's pride, Nollywood. In this video, we shall look at 10 things you didn't know about Nollywood. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. Number 10. The name Nollywood originated from a New York Times article. The origin of the term Nollywood remains unclear, as the earliest usage of the word can be traced to a 2002 article by Matt Stinglass in the New York Times, where it was used to describe Nigerian cinema. Charles Igwe noted that Norimitsu Onishi also used the name in a September 2002 article he wrote for the New York Times. The term continues to be used in the media to refer to the Nigerian film industry, with its definition later assumed to a combination of the words Nigeria and Hollywood, the American major film hub. There is no clear definition on how a Nigerian film has to be in order to be referred to as Nollywood. Some stakeholders have constantly expressed their disagreement over the term, given reasons such as the fact that the term was coined by a foreigner, as such, another form of imperialism. It has also been argued that the term is an imitation of what was already in existence, Hollywood, rather than an identity in itself that is original and uniquely African. Number 2. The first recorded movie was Kongi's Harvest. Historically, Latola Films was the first and earliest film production company in Nigeria, which started movie production as far back as 1962. However, Carl Penny Nigeria Limited spearheaded the production of the first Nigerian indigenous feature movie, Kongi's Harvest, in 1970, which was based on a play written by Wole Soyinka. But in terms of the movie that opened the market and showed that a video-based industry was possible was Okechukwu Ogonjofor's film, Living in Bondage.
Living in
Number 3.
bondage.
Nollywood has 3 sub-industries.
Comment if you watch that movie. I was like one of the most legendary movies of all time. Crazy ass movie. To be honest, I don't even remember what's in it, man. It was so long ago. But yeah, that's accurate.
Filmmaking in Nigeria is divided largely along regional, marginally ethnic, and religious lines, who seek to portray the concern of the particular section and ethnicity it represents. Given the diversity of Nollywood and its variety, the industry is divided into 3 sub-industries, which are the Nigerian cinema, Ghanaian English language cinema, and Nollywood USA. The Nigerian cinema includes the English language film industry, which is the melting pot for filmmaking, the Yoruba language cinema, and the Hausa industry, or Kannywood. The Yoruba language cinema practitioners are mostly in the western region of Nigeria, who started as far back as the mid-1960s, while the Hausa language cinema, or Kannywood, is mainly based in Kano. Number 4. Nollywood currently employs more than 1 million people. Nollywood is a major employer of labor as the industry attracts and engages an array of professionals, technicians, and tradesmen such as actors, producers, directors, cameramen, lighting experts, costume makers, caterers, makeup artists, location managers, studio managers, copywriters, gaffers, photographers, beauticians, screenplay writers, language experts, and so much more. Although it may be difficult to estimate accurately how many of each of the personnel is directly engaged by the industry, the multiplier effect of payment and receipts, namely fees, taxes, royalties, commissions, and honoraria, wages and salaries that circulate within the industry contributes immensely to sectoral and aggregate national income and productivity levels. As a result, Nollywood accounts for about 5% of Nigeria's GDP, whose
Wow.
total value is about $500 billion. Number 5. Nollywood is bigger than Hollywood. The industry produces about 50 movies weekly, which translates to an average figure of 2,500 movies annually. The movies are produced in the space of 1 month and are profitable within 2 to 3 weeks of release. The average Nollywood movie is produced in a span of 7 to 10 days on a budget between $7,500 to $13,000. Compare this to Hollywood's average budget of $6.7 million per movie and 1 year production time. According to Al Jazeera, Nollywood was priced $5.1 billion in 2014 and produced more movies than Hollywood in the United States, but not more than Indian Bollywood. Number 6.
Okay, so I have something to say about numbers 4 and 5. If you watch closely, number 4, or rather number 5, is closely linked to number 4. Number 4 talks about the amount of people that are doing that are creating Hollywood movies, and number 5 talks about the amount of movies that are being made. So first of all, I don't agree. Like, Nollywood is not bigger than Hollywood. Why? Because the name literally is derivative of Hollywood. You get, like, Hollywood has existed for more than 100 years. Like, I think the first, when Hollywood like was first established as a place where, as the industry for making of movies, we're talking about like the early 1900s, right, around like the 1920s or so. So Hollywood as an industry right now is the biggest because, first of all, even like Nollywood, Bollywood, Gollywood, all the woods, everybody still derives their cinema industry from Hollywood. Hollywood is the originator. So yes, no, like, Nollywood is not as big as Hollywood. Number one, that's in terms of, let's say, the prestige. That's number one. Number two, in terms of the amount of movies, sure. Now, to me, in my own point, like, I was even going to say, I wanted to cut off number 4, and I was even going to say that possibly more than 2 million people self even work on Nollywood movies, if I'm being honest, because people, we love, like, Nollywood is just one of those things that's taken on a mind of its own. It's indescribable what Nollywood is in Nigeria. Like, people say 7 to 10 days. People can shoot movies in like 3 days, man, 1 week. The movie is done. Maybe like they'll use 2 weeks to edit, or that is even depending on whether or not they're like, that's even if that. Like, people make movies at such a crazy pace in Nigeria, and it has always been like that since the home video era, man. People, in 1 year, a director can make up to 30 movies if he's that dedicated, even more than self. I'm sure there are directors that said that they made more than 30 movies in a year. So yeah, because, and a lot of the reason why that is because the movies are extremely low budget. Even for our own standards, like, movies are extremely low budget. Like, in a house like this, like, someone can literally shoot a whole movie in a house, and they'll just use different rooms in the house for different scenes, and then those different rooms will represent different places. They'll say, okay, this room is the hospital, the compound is the general area. Then they'll have like stock footage of Nigeria Expressway, and then pan to another room, and then they'll be like, oh, this room is the protagonist's house, and then another room is the antagonist's house, and then the parlor is maybe the father's house. So like, that's literally how they section it out. So they cut down the resources so much to where, yes, like, it is definitely possible to get through a movie in a week, especially when you're using one houses. Then the ones that even use like maybe 3 houses and use an actual hospital, those are not even the ones with the bigger budgets. You get that kind of thing. So I just wanted to point it out there. In my own opinion, I don't think the Nollywood industry is as big as the American movie industry. And then yes, obviously, like in America, there's been a lot of track record. Average movie, like even the average B movie in America, like you're talking about the level of production is a lot higher. Like they use a lot more expensive equipment. The actors, like the industry is a lot more rigid. So for you to be a high earning actor, you already have a record and stuff like that. So people cannot really skirt your payment. Whereas in Nigeria, there's only a very small group of actors that actually earn to that high level, and those that primarily most of them are people that have been acting since the home video days, that kind of thing, since way back in the days. So yeah, those are the only things that I wanted to point out. Like yeah, movies get banged out every week, man. If somebody gave me $500, I can make a movie in like 1 week, man. That's how bad it is. Like if I had $500, I can literally make a movie in a week. It's not hard, So, but yeah, interesting point so far.
Nollywood's highest grossing movies and directors. Ensuring the continuous growth of Nollywood involves very sustainable policies and strategies, which has included numerous Nollywood film schools to train those already involved in the industry, as well as newcomers, to perfect their craft. Almost all top actors and actresses are establishing their own film schools in order to give back to the community by training passionate actors and actresses. As a result of this, Nollywood has produced many box office top-earning movies. Some of these have broken series of records in domestic gross earnings, even setting new ones. The top 5 movies that have hit an all-time high include The Wedding Party 2, The Wedding Party, Chief Daddy, King of Boys, and Merry Men. With heavyweight movies such as these, you can be sure some heavyweight producers and directors are behind them. Number 7. Top Nollywood production companies and earning actors. A movie industry as large as Nollywood definitely implies that the production companies involved are in hundreds. But some of these production companies have distinguished themselves in the Nigerian movie industry when it comes to movie production, high-grossing and award-winning movies over the past years. These include Ebony Life TV, Ebony Life Films, Corporate World Entertainment Limited, the Anacol Film Stroke Inkblot Production, Play Entertainment Network, and Golden Effects. A blossoming industry as such has produced not only many celebrities, but also top-earning ones such as Falz, Richard Murphy Damijo, Osas Igodaro, Tony Tones, Zainab Balogun, Funke Akindele, Jim Ike, and Ramsey Noah. The average earnings per movie by popular Nollywood actors range between $2,000 and $5,000, but some actors claim higher earnings per movie. Number 8. Nollywood pirates are richer than any other group of pirates in the world.
Yep.
Nollywood is an industry which produces movies which are appealing to people of all backgrounds and cultures around the world. Sadly, the love and taste for its products have led to many pirates who are selling bootleg copies for a fraction of its retail price.
But that's the thing, like the piracy industry of Nollywood, I can say they probably even give birth to the piracy industry the same day they give birth to Nollywood, man. Like most movies will not even get their popularity without piracy in Nigeria, because a lot of the distribution methods we were talking about earlier on, a lot of the distribution methods for those movies were ineffective, and Nigerian movies were not as popular. Like going to cinema, rather, let me not say they were not as popular, but the cinema industry as a whole had not yet been established in Nigeria at the time. I'm talking about way early 2000s, like 2001, 2002. I think that's when the first boom of the Nollywood industry happened, leading up from the home video era from the late 90s. So because of that, how else were these movies going to get distributed? A lot of the times, the Nollywood directors and the filmmakers, after they made the movie, they will even go to pirators, pay the pirators to create multiple copies of those movies, and the pirators will now be the ones that will be the unofficial distributors for those movies. For a long time, the Nollywood industry and the pirated industry have worked hand in hand. But ever since the advent of the cinema industry, or cinema sub industry being established in Nigeria, and the Nigerians leveraging on those opportunities to make movies that are only made for cinema, the piracy has now become more of a problem, as one would understand. But at the same time, I think there's been a lot more security in terms of those movies, that come out in cinemas, especially because a lot of them have massive budgets behind them, so there's a lot more security when it comes to them. And even if they do get pirated, it's usually either at the end of the film's theater cycle or close to the end of the theater cycle. So in that sense, the piracy only helps to increase the popularity, that much, but rather than spoil the impact of the film itself. So I could be spitballing, Sha, but let me know in the comments if I'm actually right about what I'm saying or if I'm wrong. I'd like to know you guys' opinion.
Eyes. With the millions, work, time, and talent poured into bringing one project to life, it's heartbreaking to know that those who benefit from this hard work are pirates. Some go as far as combine over 20 films on a DVD disc, which is sold for pure water prices. And sadly, most people in Africa get the pirated copies and not the originals. This makes the pirate groups to be richer than every other pirate in the world. Number 9. Nollywood cares a lot about moral lessons. Another fact about Nollywood you must know is that Nollywood stories go hand in hand with moral lessons. Unlike Hollywood and sometimes Bollywood, which makes numerous fictitious movies just for entertainment with no moral lesson, no cultural attachment, Nollywood always considers the moral lessons of most of its movies. This is why we have come to associate some of Nollywood actions with certain...
Yes, that's very true. But I'll also say that a detriment to that is the fact that a lot of Nollywood movies tend to be unimaginative, and because of that, they will now be unpredictable. So what do I mean by this? I'm sure a lot of Nigerians have watched Nollywood movies, and you know that from that movie, from watching the first 10 seconds of the film, or rather the first minute, you already know how the film is going to end. You already know this person is going to die, or they will change their ways, or they will get married, or something like that. Like, you already can predict the end of the movie because of the so-called life lessons, and because of the fact that a lot of the movies particularly are taken from real life scenarios and instances that Nigerians go through. So if it's a story where you've heard the story before, or maybe it's something that you've experienced in your family, or maybe like it's something that a friend has told you, or if it's just one of those things, or a lot of the superstitions or norms that are established in our culture, that's where we get the inspiration for the movies, quite alright. But because of that, we all know the stories that they are telling already, if that makes sense. So because we already know the stories that they are telling, we already know how it's going to end. And for a lot of people, myself inclusive, it kills the novelty of it. And it's why me personally, I don't watch Nollywood movies anymore. Like, I stopped watching for years now, because there's nothing intriguing. So that being said, I cannot sit here and say that it's all Nollywood movies, like especially a lot of the blockbuster Nollywood movies that we've been having, that have been released in cinema, like they've actually changed the narrative a bit. Like, I've seen a few Nigerian movies that were in cinemas that actually did something extraordinary, if I do say so myself. So I'm putting it out there that yes, I'm not talking about those films, I'm not talking about all Nollywood films, but majority of the Nollywood films that we see on TV, or majority of the ones that happened, like that were released when we're growing up and things like that, yes, they all fell into that bracket where when you've seen one, you've basically seen all of them.
themes such as love, pain, anger, and wickedness. Mama G is synonymous to evil in most movies,
Yep.
and Ramsey Noir is often associated with love.
Yep.
A bad guy never goes free in Nigerian films, no matter how powerful, rich, intelligent, or smart you are. The police will always get you on the ground one day. The good will always catch the bad boss or bad landlord one day, and the witch must confess one day too. Number 10. Nollywood is ripe for the Oscars. Nollywood industry is global, and Nollywood films are available through Amazon, Distrify, and Iroko TV. The depth of the Nigerian film industry is clear in the range of topics explored in their films, and its influence extends way beyond Africa, as numerous platforms are gaining interest in it. Besides several African film festivals and awards to celebrate Nollywood films, For the first time in 2015, Nollywood movies were eligible for consideration in the Oscars. Ahead of the 2015 Oscars, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences approved a 12-man committee of Nollywood stakeholders, the Nigerian Oscar Selection Committee, to consider Nigerian entries for the world's most prestigious awards for films. Each year, countries with an approved selection committee may submit one film for consideration for the Foreign Language Film Award Oscar. And out of all these international submissions, 5 films are chosen for Academy members to cast their votes and choose a winning foreign language film. Also in 2018, Nollywood's Lionheart was the first Netflix original Nollywood movie, and since then, many more have followed suit. Those were 10 things you didn't know about Nollywood. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe and share with your friends.
Wow. Okay. Good video. I definitely learned some things. Yeah, I think I like the fact that there were a lot of actual facts. Like for example, I think I said at the beginning of the video, the origin of the Nollywood phrase, or rather the Nollywood term, being the combination of Nigeria and Nollywood. But I'm sure that a lot of people, myself included, did not know that the term actually came from a newspaper article. So that was crazy to me. I didn't know that. Let me know if you guys want me to continue reacting to videos like this, or maybe if I should just stick to the funny stuff. You just want to see me laugh. But if you also want videos like this as well, as I keep saying, drop your links down in the comments below. You can type in the names of the video, you can type in the names of the links. And then also, if you want me to shout out your name, so let's say like now there's a guy named John, for example, and John recommends a video for me to respond to, and then I end up picking that video. If John wants me to, if you want me to use the name John and say, okay, shouts out to John for recommending this video, also let me know in the comments below if you want your name shouted out. But if you want to be anonymous, also indicate that as well. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you watched until this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As you can see, I'm sweating, but hopefully this sweat will not be in vain. But yeah, like and subscribe, and if you have nothing to lose, yeah, vote again. Bye bye.